country from shore to shore. Our women cooked all your food and washed all your clothes. We picked all your cotton and laid the railroad still. Worked our hands to the bone. That's your lumber mill. I say, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? We fought in your wars in every land to keep this country free, all for women, children, and men. But anytime we ask for pay alone, that's when everything seemed to turn out wrong. We've been beat up, called names, shot down and stoned, and every time we do right, someone said wrong. When will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? We have given our sweat and all our tears. We've stumbled through this life for more than 300 years. We've been separated from a language we knew, stripped of our culture. People, you know it's true. Tell me now, when will we be paid for the work we've done? When will we be paid for the work we've done? Will we ever be proud of my country to me? When will we be paid? Will we ever sing out loud, sweet land of liberty? When will we be paid for the work we've done? Somebody tell me, for the work we've done. Will we ever have peace and harmony? I want to know, will we ever be paid?
That we have done. That was the Staple Singers, y'all. Welcome to the RMMM, the Reparation Movement monthly meetup. Not a meeting, not a strategy session, but simply an opportunity for us, the part of the reparations movement, to come together, new folk, old folk, put some faces to some names, share some updates, no political agendas or anything along those lines, but just a time for collaboration and convening in the like. Please fill out that reparation fun trivia quiz that's there. I'm not sure if it goes away unless you fill it out. I'm not sure, but it's anonymous. So feel free to go on and fill that out, and we'll go over the answers later. This was the third set. You might see one or two questions that you might have seen on a previous set. So the agenda is in the chat. And actually, let's pull the agenda up on the screen if we can, Bob, because we're going to just let you know what we're going to be doing during this hour. We had the Staple Singers. This is the welcome. We're about to do our principles of engagement, which is very important. So far, we've been doing just excellent with respect to our agreements, homage to our reparation ancestors. We're going to have very, very brief introductions around the room. We haven't done introductions in the last couple of months, so I decided this will be a good time to for people to, more than what you put in the chat, no, not more than what you put on, but to hear you physically as opposed to just your name, city, and org from the chat. And then we're going to go over the responses to the trivia. Then we're going to have open mic updates. I have no agenda. Open mic, it's you. Whatever updates you want to be able to share from your organization, from something that you've seen in the news or anything along the lines. So that will be the time for that. We're going to close with our theme song, Time for Reparations, Sounds of Blackness. And then for those who wish or who are interested, but hopefully everybody does, even though you all are totally veterans, because this will be the unveiling of the preliminary Reparations 101 political education briefing. And I say preliminary because I was still doing a little bit of work on it. Our next RMMM meetup, again, the last Tuesday of the month, which will be Tuesday, February the 28th. So, Baba, yeah, we can put the principles of engagement up on the screen so that we are all on the same page. And again, excuse me, my name is Nikichi Taifa. I'm the founder and director of REP, the Reparation Education Project, Inc. All right, so we're going to be getting that up in just a moment. Let me put back in the chat again the agenda and stuff so that folk who just came in. Let's see, 1 second, paste. All right, so why don't we just, I used to be a teacher before I was a lawyer back in the day. So why don't we just say it in unison? Please keep yourself on mute though, as we say it in unison, or else it's gonna sound really kind of crazy. Reparation movements, monthly meetup, principles of engagement. Number 1, respect each other in language and action. Number 2, listen with an open mind. Number 3, criticize the problem, not the person. Number 4, ask to clear up unclarity. Number 5, assume the best intent of others. And then finally, last but totally and definitely not least, contribute out of love. Contribute out of love. Thank you, Baba. If you can remove our principles of engagement. All right, cool. So we're going to go with what we always do is our homage to reparation ancestors. Now, these aren't just all of any of our ancestors, of which when we usually do libation that comes up, but people that you know of who were specifically reparationists or part of the reparations movement. And this is just folk that were near and dear to me. You have people who might have been near and dear to your own reparations movements and struggles. And when I call for everyone to just chime in, please do. These are just some, and I can assure you, I keep forgetting to update my list. So this is still the primary list. So again, we call upon all of those reparationists, those who walked among us, or those whose inspirations we got from who are now in the ancestral realm, that they give us the strength and the power and the determination to continue on what we're doing, living out their vision, living out the vision that must be lived out with respect to the issue of reparations. So feel free to respond, what we say, ashe, which means all right, or so be it, as I call out some of their names, and then we'll open it up for you to call out names of your own as well. Belinda Sutton Royal.
Ashe.
Henrietta Wood.
Ashe.
Sojourner Truth.
Ashe.
Callie House.
Ashe.
Isaiah Dickerson.
Ashe.
Marcus Garvey.
Ashe.
Queen Mother Otley Moore.
Ashe.
President Imari Abubakari Obadele.
Ashe.
Attorney Chokwe Lumumba.
Ashe.
Queen Mother Dorothy Lewis.
Ashe.
Baba Hannibal Afrique.
Ashe.
Reparations Ray Jenkins.
Ashe.
Congressman John Conyers.
Ashe.
State Senator Bill Owens.
Ashe.
Baba Kalanji Olusegun.
Ashe.
Brother Kwame Afo.
Ashe.
Brother Conrad Warrell.
Ashe.
Professor James Turner.
Ashe.
Dr. Ron Walters.
Ashe.
Help me out here, y'all come on off of mute and call out some of your names of ancestors that I didn't cover here so we can ashe them as well. Come on with it.
Matahochi Zanu.
Ashe.
Kwame Ture.
Ashe.
Claire Bourgeois.
Ashe.
John Conyers.
Ashe.
Asona Jinaku.
Ashe.
Jim Matsuoka.
Ashe.
Ashe.
John Lewis.
Ashe.
Ashe.
Saladin Muhammad.
Ashe.
Ashe.
All right. Ashe, 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 oh, those named and not named, we stand on your shoulders. Let's get this done. All right. Okay, so brief introductions. Yeah, so we're gonna go around briefly. All we're gonna do right now, because we're just trying to put names to faces. So maybe we should only go to those whose faces are shown. I mean, I don't know. You know, I think that's how we'll do it. Yeah, those whose faces are shown. You can come back off your, yeah, even if your face is what is it called? Picture face, as opposed to other than just the names on there. So I'll just call you out because I see you on my screen. Let me start with Kathy Masaoka. You're the first one I see on my screen, my sister.
All right, Kathy Masaoka with Nikkei Progressives and Nikkei for Civil Rights and Redress in Los Angeles. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Mariana Barros Titus.
That's right, Mariana Barros Titus, calling in from the Black Broad Branch Coalition in Washington, D.C.
Yeah, that's right in my neighborhood, y'all. We really connect. Thank you very much. Lily Jackson.
Greetings. I'm Lily Jackson from Akron, Ohio. I am here by way of Freedom Block and in Greater Akron Canton Association of Black Social Workers.
Wonderful. Thank you so very much for joining.
Okay.
Professor Dr. Robert Wesley. I just want to say something about you. I'm not going to do this with everybody, but your article was one of the first articles. I think it was called Many Millions Gone or something like that.
Billions.
Billions. Oh my God, billions from back in the day. So go on, Robert Wesley. Let's know who you are.
Greetings, everyone. I'm glad to be here.
Who is you? You say it. You tell who you are.
Professor Robert Wesley at Tulane University.
All right, thank you. Nicole Carty.
Hi, Nkichi. Nicole Carty. So good to see you. Here with Project Truth, Reconciliation, Reparations, soon to be renamed though, and joining from Brooklyn.
Fabulous. How you doing, my sister? Thank you. Professor Dr. Akinyele Umoja. You on mute, my brother.
And man, I've been doing that for 3 years now. Akinyele Umoja, affectionately called Baba AK by my family and friends. I'm a Africana Studies scholar and activist currently teaching a class on reparations this semester and live in Atlanta, Georgia, AKA colonized New Africa.
Yes, indeed. Thank you. Mia Iwatali, how are you?
Hi. Hey, Nkichi. Hey, AK.
How you doing, Mia, my friend?
All right. Mia Iwataki with Nikkei Progressives and the National Nikkei Reparations Coalition coming from LA.
All right. California in the house. Quasi Chapin.
Good evening, everyone. Quincy Chapin from Cheverly, Maryland, representing the Decolonizing Wealth Project.
All right. Thank you for joining. You know, I love y'all. Brother Cam Howard.
Peace, everyone. Brother Cam, Reparations United, coming out of cold Chicago.
Welcome, Cam. Thanks for joining. Demetrius Griffin.
Greetings, all. I'm a member of the Westside NAACP, as well as Rainbow Push, but I've been spending a lot of time in Evanston for First Repair.
All right.
And I'm a student at National Lewis.
Okay, thank you for joining. Richard Adams.
Greetings, everybody. I'm from Western Massachusetts, and I'm a member of a 5-member group right now called Massachusetts Reparations, and we're presently doing a lot as much as we can. And I'm also member of the Amherst Chamber of Commerce. And I hope I can shout out a little bit about what I experienced today. It was really awesome. I'm good. Thank you.
Wait, when we have open mic, you have your opportunity, okay? I like to call y'all Mass Rep. Massachusetts Rep. I just made that up on the spot. Okay, Corey Shaw.
Peace and love, everybody. My name is Corey Shaw, coming at you with the Black Broad Branch Project out of Chevy Chase, DC, and also the African American Redress Network.
All right, thank you, Corey Shaw. Cynthia Robbins, attorney and counselor at law.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Cynthia Robbins. I co-founded the Racial Justice Initiative of Time Banks USA, and I am chief strategist for Consult GR team based in Washington, D.C.
All right, thank you for joining. Ingrid Hill.
Hi, Ingrid Hill, People's Organization for Progress, New Jersey.
Woo, yeah, say the word.
Yeah.
Hi, Alicia Williams. Oh, Alicia, yes.
Hi. Greetings, everyone. Alicia Williams. I am calling in from Weeksville, Brooklyn, and I am new to the reparations space and a new member of the Liberation Ventures team. Gratitude to everyone for having me here, and I apologize for being off screen. I am eating, but I will come back on.
Not a problem. Welcome. And I don't require everybody to remain on screen, but this is just for little introductions. I'm just going to.
I was like, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Okay. Niamu Mui. You're on mute.
I'm Niamo, the Hemobile, thehemobile.com. I'm with a lot of organizations and COBRA and International Black Summit among them.
All right, my sister, the Heal Mobile. I love it. HEAL, that is, y'all. Heal Mobile. Otis Pitney.
Hey, everybody. Otis Pitney here. I am with the Rich White Men's Impact Campaign, and I am coming from Washington, D.C., too.
Hey, Otis. Y'all want to meet some of them rich white men. It's all good. Let me stop. Yeah, it's all good. Oh, Dr. Akmamu Akil. You on mute.
Good evening. My name is Dr. Akmamu Akil. I'm in Mitchellville, Maryland, and I'm representing the Energy Institute of the Healing Arts, and I'm working to see how we can work with some healing during reparations.
Yeah, we need some healing. Thank you very much, my brother. Ife Williams, Dr. Ife Williams.
Hi, Kichi. Hi, everybody. Ife Williams, African Heritage Studies Association. And I'm here in Philly with those sickening Eagle fans. They won't shut up.
Okay, I'm not going to make any comments. Thank you, Ife. Oh, brother Watella Ibn Yusuf. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I wasn't supposed to call on you because I don't see your face.
Thank you for calling on me. I'm sorry, I apologize, but my camera is not working for some reason. I've been trying back and forth. Greetings, everyone. My name is Watella Ibn Yusuf. I'm the co-chair of NCOBRA DC chapter, also a member of the NCOBRA board here in Washington, live in Washington, DC.
Thank you. Welcome. Welcome, Watella. Dr. Jacqueline Smith. Now you're not showing either, but I do see a J, so I'll just call on you since it's not just a name. Did you want to introduce yourself? Okay, so we're going to go on. Prophet in Anyanwu Cox.
Thank you. I'm Prophet Anyanwu Cox. I'm going to bring it down a little bit, I guess. And I'm a member of the NCOBRA Health Commission. Thank you.
Okay,
and I put my information in the chat.
Okay, great. Yeah, everyone do that if you wish. Oh, Dr. Burnell, Dr. Eshe Iya Ifabola, Mama Ashe. Got a lot of names. We can't hear you. You're on mute. Okay.
Greetings.
Greetings. Did you want to introduce yourself quickly?
My name is Dr. Burnell and Ianifa Ifabola, and my passion is healing ourselves. That's part of reparations, and the recent killing by us of us is just an example of that internal.
Open mic. We're going to save that part for open mic, but thank you.
Yeah, that's part of the healing.
It absolutely is, and it's part of reparations, reparatory justice. Thank you. I'm going to screen 2 right now. Let's see. I see a lot of the same ones from screen 1. Oh, okay, no, okay. Oh, yeah, I see most of these folks don't have their pictures on, so that's fine. Okay, Kathleen, your real picture face isn't on, but your virtual is. So did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm Kathleen Anderson from Amherst, Massachusetts, Western Mass. I'm the female co-chair of New England in Cobra. I'm also a member with Richard of the Reparations, Massachusetts Reparations. We're also working with a small group getting ready to organize a statewide conversation on reparations.
All right. Thank you very much, my sister. Afua Yates, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes,
Okay.
I can.
Yes.
I'm here in Oakland, California, and trying to stay in touch, with the organizations here that are dealing with reparations and also the forward movement in our community.
Thank
and
you
I'm
very
glad
much.
to be with you. Thank you.
We're glad to have you. Mujahid Nayahuma.
Good evening. I'm with the Philadelphia and Cobra, and we just have petitioned City Council in Philadelphia to look further into reparations in terms of policy.
Update. We're going to say that for open mic update. Okay, great. Thank you for being here and love the work that you're doing. Esther Hosendorf.
Good evening, everyone. I'm in Grandview, Missouri, and I'm with the Kansas City Reparations Coalition.
All right.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
Welcome. I'm not sure if Alita Toure wants to introduce herself. I know she's very much under the weather, but I'll call her just in the event that she wants to. If not, I would say that she is with a group in California called Got Reparations. And okay, you want to talk for yourself. Go on, my sister.
Good evening, everyone. This is Alita Torre. Glad to be here. Got reparations in the Bay Area. Glad to be here, y'all. Sorry, I'm not on screen. I had some.
It's all right. Okay. I'm Reverend Dr. Julianne Robertson, attorney and minister.
Hello, good evening, everybody. I am wearing a lot of hats, but my heart is all about Black people. So I just wanted to come in and say thank you for holding this sacred space for so many activists and powerful people to come together as thought leaders. And I just, and Kiki, I just want you to always know I really appreciate you. And I see you, so thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, my sister. I see you too. Okay, I think that's it. T. Gray, I see a little butterfly. T. Gray, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. It's great to be here. This is T. Gray, and I'm in the group with Kathleen and Richard with Reparations for Massachusetts group. So nice to be here.
Mass Rep. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone else who did not introduce themselves who wants to that I didn't call on? Okay, great. So I'm going to pull up this. Oh, Lord, I hope it's still there. The daggone poll, the quiz. Okay, yeah, it's there. Okay. We have over half participation. So yes. Do you still see it on your screen? I'm not sure. I think I have to end poll. Hopefully I can do this correctly. This is the third time. I'm scared to say end poll, but I'll do it. Okay, good. Now share results. Okay, do you all see the results on the screen? Yes or no? Of the poll, the quiz. All right. So, what is the exact name of the bill that granted reparations to slaveholders in the United States? And this was a question we had on a previous Trivia Fund quiz. The first one was Emancipation Proclamation, and 22% said that. The second choice was the Second Confiscation Act, and 4% said that. The third answer was the DC Compensated Emancipation Act, and 70% said that. And the fourth was the Healing White People for Losing Their Slaves Act. And 4% said that. Well, 70% got it right. It was called the DC Compensated Emancipation Act. So claps to those who got it correct. And, you know, these are just some little trivia things. Yeah, I guess they could have called it the Healing White People for Losing Their Slaves Act, but that wasn't the title. Number 2, what is the name of the group that performed the song Time for Reparations? And we usually use that as our closing theme song. And so 4% said Black Notes. Anybody in DC knows who Black Notes was because I was a part of Black Notes. But anyway, okay. 4% said The Sound of Music. Now, y'all know where I got that from. The Sound of Music. That's not quite right. 9% said Reparations Revival Ensemble. I think that could have been a good name for that group, Reparations Revival Ensemble. But 83% got it correct. The Sounds of Blackness. And for those who have not heard the Sounds of Blackness and their song Time for Reparations, we play it at the close of our RMMM. Okay, check all options you feel reparations should be sought from. This was multiple choice. Okay. Nobody said none of the above. Federal government reparations, 100%. State and local government reparations, 100%. Academic and religious institutions, reparations, 100%. Corporations and industries, reparations, 100%. Private estate reparations, 100%. None of the above. No one said none of the above. Give yourself a. Now, of course, you know, these are just our opinions. They happen to be my opinions, and I see you share them as well. There are other people who might not share these opinions, and that's fine as well. We're just trying to get a feel and a pulse. Okay. Who is recognized as the mother of the modern era reparations movement? And this also was one of the questions from one of our previous reparations trivia fun quiz. Good choice, Rosa Parks, 4%. I mean, if you've never heard of this before, and this is on a standardized test, and then Rosa Parks was there, you know, you might have, you know, that was a logical choice, but it ain't right. Thank God no one said Queen Latifah. I love her, but she is not recognized as the mother of the modern era reparations movement. Thank God no one said Medea. Oh my God. But yes, 96% got it correct. Queen Mother Audley Moore. And folks, please go to folks' websites. The information is on people's website. Google up. You can find more information in the like. All right. Who is recognized as the father of the modern era reparations movement? And this name is not as well known as the mother of the modern era. And no, it's not Malcolm X, but again, good multiple choice answer, but no, not quite. Senator Cory Booker, we know that he introduced the Senate reparations bill as 40, but he is not recognized as the father of the modern era reparations movement. I'm going to skip down to James Foreman Jr. Another good response, but actually even not quite that good because James Foreman Jr. is his son, who's currently a professor at Yale. James Foreman was the civil rights activist. Yeah, but that wasn't right. But even though he played a pivotal role, but the name that many of you don't know, been swept under the rug, Imari Abubakari Obadeli. And anyone who has read my memoir, Black Power, Black Lawyer, or my book, Reparations on Fire, would know that name. Okay, number 6. This was another answer question that was on a previous RMMM quiz. The Japanese American redress movement was inspired by the movement against mass incarceration, 9%. Okay, they could have been, but they weren't because the movement against mass incarceration hadn't quite begun during that time. Ida B. Wells' anti-lynching movement. Well, Ida B. Wells' movement kind of predated the Japanese American incarceration. The Black Lives Matter movement, very good. No one got that. That came afterwards. But yes, the civil rights and the Black Power movement. And I just always love that because our movement was the inspiration for their movement, and they are standing hand in hand with our movement right now, helping to bring it across the finish line. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, let's move on. The 2001 now, World Conference Against Racism in Durban, South Africa, designated the transatlantic slave trade as what? 17% said an abomination. It was, in fact, an abomination, but it was not designated as that by the World Conference Against Racism. I'm going to skip number 2, and then we go to number 3 first. Genocide pursuant to the International Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Now, they could have, what was my question? They could have designated the transatlantic slave trade as that, because it really was that also, but it wasn't that. Let's go to the 4th one. Thank God no one said similar to a Sunday school picnic, but it was, in fact, designated officially as a crime against humanity that always should have been seen as such. So 78% got that. Those who chose genocide, as far as I'm concerned, that needs to come next. That it needs to be specifically under that. And y'all don't want me to go through those tenets of what genocide means, or, you know, it's in my books, it's in my speeches and all like that. Number 8, check any of the books or articles you have read or skimmed. I said skim because y'all know, you know. Ta-Nehisi Coates, The Case for Reparations. That was the article in the Atlantic magazine that came out in, I think, 2014, something like that. 83%. All right. Randall Robinson's The Debt, What America Owes. And this was back in the day, y'all. So 39%. That's good. Okay. Sir Hilary Beckles, Britain's Black Debt, Reparations for Caribbean Slavery and Native Genocide, 22%. Yeah, we need to see and know what's going on in other parts of the world. Sir Hilary Beckles, just absolutely phenomenal. And the book just is full of ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Ray Winbush, Should America Pay? Slavery and the Raging Debate on Reparations, 39%. This was another book that was back in the day. All or most of these books, I think all of them, are on the Reparation Education Project website under resources. You can click on them and purchase them and find out what they're all about. Mary Frances Berry, her book, My Face is Black is True, Hallie House and the Struggle for Slave Reparations, 30%. This is an educational thing that we do here with this quiz as well, trying to expose you to things that are out there that's part of the reparations movement that you might not be aware of, but it would be good for educational purposes. William Darity and Kristen Mullen, From Here to Equality. We have 43% have read or skimmed that book. Cam Howard, he's sitting right here on the screen, Laying the Foundations for Local Reparations. 30% have read or skimmed that. Catherine Franke, Repair. I think she's the only one on here who's one of our white allies. Catherine Franke, Repair, Redeeming the Promise of Abolition. And if you look through that book, there are some specific recommendations as to what reparations can look like, where it can come from 13%. All right. Nikichi Taipa, Reparations on Fire, How and Why It's Spreading Across America. It's only been out for a couple of weeks now. So 26%, I feel good about that. And I will put it in the chat since I'm the moderator, whatever. Oh, I can't believe 26 people have seen this other one. Chokwe Lumumba and Mario Bedelli, Nikichi Taipa, Reparations, yes, the legal and political reasons why new Africans should be paid now for the enslavement of our ancestors and for war against us after slavery. Yes, that was the title. It was published in 1987. I'm the only living author of that book, which is out of print. I found out last year it was on the banned book list of the Central York School District of Pennsylvania. So I decided when I wrote Reparations on Fire, How and Why It's Spreading Across America, to include the text of this book from 1987 as an appendix to Reparations on Fire. So if getting Reparations on Fire, you get both. You get both of those. Okay, number 9. Lord, we're almost coming down to the end with time. Okay. Check any of the movies, shows, or documentaries that you have viewed. Erica Alexander, the big payback. Okay, over half the people, 52%, have seen it. It's on PBS. Don't miss it. The big payback is there. Donald Glover, Atlanta. It's also called, I should say, Big Payback. I forgot what station, whatever it's on TV. Though I have seen the episode, though I haven't seen all of the Atlanta episodes. But 26%. Regina King, Watchmen, 39%. These all have elements of reparations as part of their narratives. And Descendants, Netflix, about the descendants of the survivors of the Clotilda, also known as Africa Town. Thank you, Corey Shaw. Atlanta is on FX, and I can't see your rest of your thing, but you check the chat. He has some stuff in there. Okay, I think this is the last one. This is a question that was on a previous Trivia Fun quiz as well. Check all the Black-led organizations that work on reparations that you have heard of. And unfortunately, Zoom only let me list 10 because there are more I wanted to include on here, maybe next time. National Coalition of Blacks for Reparations in America and NCOBA, 91%. National African American Reparations Commission, NARC, 74%. Reparation Education Project, REP, 65%. So everybody needs to bring that to 100% because I'm the founder and director of the Reparation Education Project. So hello. It's all good. Thurgood Marshall Civil Rights Center. And also I should include in there also African American Redress Network because they work very closely together, 57%. So far we have all over 50%. First Repair, Robin Ruth Simmons, Alderman with Evanston, Illinois, 61%. The National Assembly of American Slavery Descendants, and I spelled American wrong, my apologies, 48%. That's nearly 50%, but 48%. The Restitution Study Group, 22%. That's Sister Deidre, attorney at law, Farmer Pellman. The Reparations Finance Lab, that's 17%. And I know I saw Enid Williams on the screen somewhere, so you got to get your organization up there, known within an annals of the reparations movement. Reparations United, another newer organization, but you know the person, the movement shaker behind it, none other than Cam Howard. So you see him everywhere, so 35% there, that needs to be moved on up. The National Black Cultural Information Trust, NBCIT, that is Sister Jessica Ann Mitchell, Ari War, who just had twins. So thank you for that. I'm going to go on and stop sharing that, right? Oh, share the results. Oh, I don't even know if y'all saw that. I don't know what's going on. I'm hitting stop. We've gone through it. Oh no, I was supposed to take a picture of it. Oh, well, I'm sorry, Baba. Yeah, I didn't do the screen share. So, okay, I'm going to stop sharing. Keep saying stop sharing. I'm gonna hit download results, but I never know what. Oh Lord, I don't even see them. I'm off the screen. Okay, so it's time now for our open mic, and so let me just get out of this. So look, I'm not calling. I don't have anybody pre-prepared to call on this time. So if you do the hand raise thing, or if I don't see that, just say you want to speak and I'll accommodate you. Updates, announcements. Come on, y'all. This is not a tame group. I know that. What you're working on? This is what this segment is all about. Okay, I'm going to start off then.
I can start.
Okay, who was that? Kathleen?
That's Kathleen.
Okay, I'm going
to I just want to let people know that to save the date for the National NCOBRA Convention Conference that's happening in Oakland, California, June 22nd through June 24th of this year. So save the date, mark your calendars.
Thank you very much, Kathleen. And I have my calendar marked already for the NCOBRA Convention in California, y'all. Thank you so very much. And you might want, if there's anything you want to put in the chat about that, you can. Corey Shaw, I think I saw your hand. Talk to us. Corey Shaw with the Broad Branch Coalition.
Yeah, the Black Broad Branch Coalition and the African American Redress Network. First, an update from the Black Broad Branch Project. We officially now have curriculum for the 3rd grade, 6th grade, and 12th grade levels adherent to DCPS standards to teach students about the history of an African-American family whose lineage dates back to 1773. It's really, really exciting. There's a book out. I'll drop a link in the chat later. But as soon as we have that stuff ready to publish and share with the public, we'll share it with this group so that you all can take that to the circles that you're in and try and get that as far and wide as we can. Second, I want to give an update from the African American Research Network. One, to just highlight the tremendous work of the researchers there and the continued efforts to engage with a number of communities. And I want to lift up those communities by name: Brown Grove, Virginia, Africatown, Alabama, Harris Neck, Georgia, and I think that's it for now. With that, I'll stop talking.
Thank you. Thank you very much for those important updates, Corey Shaw. I next see the hand of Prophet Anyanwu Cox.
Thank you so much. I just wanted to, a couple people have mentioned health and that for our community. And so one of the things I want to highlight is that the NCOBRA, the subcommittee of the Health Commission, is the Matula Shakur community initiative, and it deals with AcuDetox, which is one of the things he was involved in. It's acupuncture. It's a 5-point acupuncture for the ear. And children can learn it, adults can learn it. It's being used in veteran hospitals. I've heard it's been used in the military. So just wanted to make people aware of it, and that we're wanting to do something, looking to do something in New York at the Permanent Forum on People of African Descent. Will be here in the United States and in New York. Right now, the dates are May 3rd through June the 2nd. They haven't solidified it, but just to be aware, and we want to do something around honoring Matula Shakur at that time by highlighting the work that he was involved in to detox, rather than having methadone or some other toxic chemical, but to actually use regular detox. Thank you.
Thank you so very much for that update. And Dr. Matula Shakur is very dear and near and dear to our hearts, and is a reparationist as well. Brother Watella Ibn Yusuf, you were next.
Thank you. Thank you, Nkechi. As stated earlier, I am with NCOBRA. First, I want to invite everyone. Everyone is here. If you're not a member of NCOBRA, become a member of NCOBRA. NCOBRA is a national coalition that's been around about 35 years, and we accept, no matter what your views are on reparation, we fight on many different fronts, and we welcome you in. And I believe that is probably one of the reasons why we'll last so long, is because we believe in unity and working with everyone. And if there's an NCOBRA chapter in your area, please join the chapter. The fees are very, very low to join, because we want your input more than we want money from you. February 25th is our National Day for recognizing and for promoting our issue. It's called Reparation Awareness Day. It was started in 1993 and has grown over the years. We have events happening across the country. Here in Washington, D.C., we have a nice event that we're planning. Here, we're building on unity and coalition building. So we're inviting the various organizations out to this forum to speak towards unity and working together in Washington, D.C., as well as we have a keynote speaker that night. Ajwa will speak that night. We're looking at analyzing where the movement is today, and we also have a panel discussion following her keynote address, where we evaluate where we are today in the movement and talk in terms of what we should be doing in the next 18 months from a coalition standpoint, not looking at one single idea. So please join us. Thank you.
Thank you very much for those updates, Watella. Reparations Awareness Day. It's a national day for reparationists across the country. And thank you for giving the update for the activities related to that will be happening in Washington, D.C., as well as re-emphasizing the NCOBRA convention in California in June. Kathy Masaoka, you're up next.
Okay, so coincidentally, February 19th is also a day of remembrance for the Japanese American community, to recall the order that put the Japanese Americans into during. So that's up. I detail. We have a program. Actually, there's programs across the country. If you look it up, somewhere in your part of the country. Okay. So I just wanted to say that we are continuing to study and educate ourselves with the California Reparations Task Force report that they put out, and they're having hearings, as you know, this coming year on actual remedies. So we've been following that. But what I wanted to say, which I failed to talk about the last time we met, was that we had a week-long visit with Kenneth Henry of NCOBRA, and she was here to speak on a panel on healing, but she also was here to share and help us build relationships with others in Los Angeles. So she did some education, and we had a really great time with her. And I just encourage, that we built a relationship that she calls us her Japanese American family, and she feels like she's our family as well. So I just wanted to say that, and we do want to connect with other people in California because we'll be sponsoring a speaking tour, as I think we mentioned last time, maybe in California, and connect with people here and others in California to do more education. So thank you.
You very much for those updates. And yes, we are family. Thank you. Mujahid Nayahuma. And before you speak, I just happened to look in the chat. I didn't realize that the poll, did you all see the poll when I was giving the answers?
No.
Yes, I did.
Yes, I did.
Okay, so someone said when I press the green button, the whole thing shows. So I need to tell people to press some kind of green button, right? I guess. Okay, see, I don't look at it's hard to look at the chat when I'm.
It didn't automatically expand. That's what happened.
It doesn't automatically expand. Lord have mercy. Someone talk to Zoom. Okay, so thank you. So let me go back to Mujahid Nayahuma. Thank you.
Greetings. Philadelphia's leadership in terms of NCOBRA chapter had a press conference last week. The press conference was about the Philadelphia City Council passing some legislation to set up a commission, study reparations in Philadelphia. We've already had the banks identified who benefited from slavery and want to make them accountable in terms of reparation. And we had a very good press coverage in terms of local press coverage.
Thank you very much for that update. I'm really anxious to see what's going to come out of that from Philadelphia. So congratulations on that. Stephanie Isabel. And unmute yourself, Stephanie. There you are.
Hello. I didn't have time to introduce myself earlier, and I just felt like I should introduce myself now. My name is Stephanie Isabel. I'm with the Seton Hall Martin Luther King Jr. Association. I'm here with Sierra Dortch, and we are just here to sit in, just to find out what's happening in the world. And I'm a first year and a chemical engineering major, and I just really wanted to hear y'all out. So I'm here.
Well, welcome. And we're so very glad that you're with us, you and your colleagues, and I look forward to interacting with you. Okay, Dr. Ife Williams. Off of mute.
Just a quick announcement. I don't know how many people heard a few weeks ago, the Church of England, the Anglican Church put aside 100 million pounds for reparation fund for those places that were impacted by there. And they use this term criminality. So a commission has been set up by the church, and they are pulling in people from the civic community to help them determine how that money is to be distributed. Of course, there's only 1% of their budget, but it's something.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing that. And again, inch by inch, we're moving this movement forward, inch by inch. Cam Howard.
Thank you, Nkechi. An update or announcement, I don't know which one it is, but the Permanent Forum of People of African Descent sent a letter. The president of the Permanent Forum sent a letter to the Pope reasserting our knowledge of their criminality. Thank you, Dr. Ife. Their criminality and what it is that we desire as redress for their criminality. And in his letter, he cited the presentment that we delivered on July 18th, also naming me in that letter to the Pope. So that was an added touch, but it's just more to show that we're elevating our global demand at the highest level with the permanent form of people of African descent stepping in and also making it a main issue of their work going forward. It's probably the first official act that they did. I'm not sure of that, but probably the first act that I've seen. Secondly, I'm on the kickoff of my Reparations Unity Tour entitled The Mission, the Mandate, the Method. I started in Chicago a couple of days ago, Friday. It was great. Look forward to going around the country on 15 cities. We're going to be in LA on the 11th, San Diego on the 12th, Oakland on the 15th. I have some business stuff I had to do in the middle of the month, but end of the month, end of March, end of February, we'll probably be in St. Louis in the Midwest. We'll be in Atlanta, March 1st and 2nd, Selma, 4th and 5th, 18th in Milwaukee, be down in Jackson, and New York, the end of March. But, you know, we're really looking to speak to that element within the movement that feels they haven't been spoken to, but they have a loud voice, and that voice can oftentimes be cacophony, you know, loud and noisy. And we want to bring them into the discussion as family and to synchronize our voice. We believe that we had a tremendously critical time in the movement that requires a sense of unity that we haven't built before. And certainly we don't think we can get reparations unless that unity is built. So that's the purpose of the tour. And hopefully we can, you can join us and help us promote it when we come to your city.
Thank you very much, Cam Howard. I know everyone will be excited to hear from you on your worldwide tour. Okay. Now, Dr. Julian, is your hand up again, or did I miss something?
No, you didn't. My hand is up again, and I did put in chat a link to an article about a Black attorney and activist, Marilyn Pierre, who is facing disbarment proceedings in Annapolis, Maryland on the 2nd. The address and the time and location is there. And I also need to put out a very heartfelt plea for all licensed attorneys anywhere you're barred in the country. We have been studying the levels of incarceration for Black youth, Black men around the country, and have found that Maryland is second only to Mississippi in the number of African-American males who are incarcerated. I think there are a lot of economic and educational reasons where they want to suppress our upward mobility using incarceration as a technique. But combined with other issues, Marilyn Pierre ran for the bench in Maryland and got enough votes to be among the top 3. And immediately as her record began to be relevant to whether she was going to be on the ballot, one of her opponents initiated disbarment proceedings against her. Luckily for her, she's also licensed in New York and New Jersey. But if they take her way of making a living away from her, they also suppress her voice. And so we would like to ask people to come out and support and to come into the movement to do some legal actions that are very, very critical right now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. I want to connect you also with National Conference of Black Lawyers. I want to see, I saw Richard Adams. I see some other hands that have been up again. I'm not quite sure whether they're up again or you just didn't put them down, because after Richard, if you are putting them down, I wanted to tell you about something else. Okay, so good. So Richard, you're going to be the last open mic.
Okay, I'll try to be as fast as possible, but speak clearly enough so you can understand. I went to a meeting today, like a roundtable discussion, and met Earl Miller. He's the CRESS director. Now, CRESS is basically an organization that was created in Amherst, and it's one of a kind, and it's paid positions. They have almost $1 million set up to pay for people. People are basically responders. They're the purpose to ensure, quote, that any public safety response is anti-racist, equitable, just, and fair, and that they offer prevention services that get at the root of assisting our community and members to avoid necessitating public safety involvement in the first place. Ideally, this means that when as he says, mental health is not a crime. And so basically, we have an organization that's developed and people have been hired. This is awesome. One brother from the Bronx, I met him. He was just totally cool. And we had a great time talking to each other. But basically, there's 10 people on staff now, and they've all been hired at the same rate as a beginning cop would get paid. They're union employees, they get benefits, and there's a budget almost $1 million set aside already. It's an incredible program. And basically, to me, it's a necessity in any community to be established. And it's basically set up and run by people that understand the problems with racism and whatnot. And just look it up, CRESS.
Put it in the chat.
I will put it up in the chat. It's at amherst.gov and look it up and basically dig this. He is already being asked to train people by federal government people to train and set up programs in other cities and towns already. And he's just started. He's only been going at it for 6 months. It's just like, wow.
Thank you
I'll put it up.
so very much for that information. We appreciate it. Put it in the chat. I'm going to tell you what we're going to do right now because we start on time and we end on time, but don't go yet. I want to share something called ancestral mathematics. I might have done it on another call, but what I want to do is I said that this first RMMM of the year, we were going to start doing a Reparations 101 political education briefing. And Reparation Education Project compiled this in partnership with the Parable of the Sower Intentional Community. And this is a draft, but I want to just go through it. It's only about 10 minutes. And in the future, we want to do it at each RMMM, either before we start or after we conclude, for new people to the movement who might be interested. But first, I want to do this ancestral mathematics, which comes from the Community Healing Network, where I first heard it on one of their emotional emancipation Tuesdays. And just listen, it's just incredible. And I don't know why I was thinking of Tyree Nichols when I just picked this up. I don't know why I was thinking about Tyree Nichols. We all know the latest cop killing that occurred in Memphis. But ancestral mathematics, in order to be born, you needed 2 parents, 4 grandparents, 8 great-grandparents, 16 second great-grandparents, 32 third great-grandparents, 64 fourth great-grandparents, 128 fifth great-grandparents, 256 sixth great-grandparents, 512 seventh great-grandparents, 1,024 eighth great-grandparents, 2,048 ninth great-grandparents for you to be born today from 12 previous generations. You needed a total of 4,094 ancestors over the last 400 years. Think for a moment. How many struggles? How many battles? How many difficulties? How much sadness? How much happiness? How many love stories? How many expressions of hope for the future? How many did our ancestors have to undergo for us to exist right here, right now, in this present moment? Food for thought. So thank you. At this time, I'm Baba Yao, who I didn't introduce. He's our engineer. Baba Yao, if you could put on the screen the reparations briefing, one-on-one political education briefing. And this is just a draft. We're going to have more bells and whistles and music and voiceovers and all like that. So I think Baba Yao, you still here? Oh, there he is. Y'all get away from me. Oh, in my book, Reparations on Fire, How and Why It's Spreading Across America. If you want to buy it black, it's in the chat, or you can get it from Amazon. Let's go to the first slide, please. That's the last slide. Welcome to Reparations 101 Political Education Briefing, brought to you by the Reparation Education Project and the Parable of the Sower Intentional Community Cooperative. And I see we got that posted from Pop People's Organization for Progress. They got some of the best posters out there. Okay, it's supposed to go to the next one. Actually, I'm not sure if you have the PDF or if you have the MP3 on there.
MP3.
Okay, there we go. So what is reparations? We're talking about forms of redress provided to those who have suffered human rights abuses or other forms of widespread systemic injustices, or to their descendants, usually in the aftermath of war or enslavement or other forms of gross injustice. We got enslavement, we got lynching, we got police brutality, we got mass incarceration, we got homelessness, we got healthcare, we got redlining and all. Reparations also includes the formal acknowledgement of historic wrong and a formal unfettered apology. Why do I say unfettered? Because the House and Senate passed apology bills, but the Senate bill said you cannot use our apology to justify any claim for reparations. The nerve, the absolute gall. What else does reparations up here include? The recognition that the injury has continued past the enslavement era and still manifests today. We just talked about our brother who was just murdered, Tyree Nichols, in Memphis, Tennessee. A direct connection between the patty rollers of yesterday, the patty rollers capturing escaped people and police brutality today. Reparations include the commitment to redress by culpable parties, including who? The federal government, which did what? Which sanctioned the enslavement and subsequent segregation, by state and local governments, by industries and corporate entities, by academic and religious institutions, by private estates, other culpable entities, all of whom, what did they enjoy? They enjoyed unjust enrichment. All of this is part of the reparations claim. It includes the actual redress in whatever form or forms are agreed upon. Moreover, those who are culpable must adhere to the 5 internationally accepted norms for reparations, inclusive of cessation and guarantees of non-repetition. Stop it. Restitution, compensation, satisfaction, and rehabilitation. They stole us, they sold us, they owe us. Okay, let's pause on this slide right here for a moment, Baba Yao. But in terms of a brief history of the reparations movement, let's look at General Sherman's Special Field Order number 15. He didn't come up with this all by himself. This is what 40 acres and the mule concept came under. He consulted with Black leaders, religious leaders, okay, in the community, and said, what do you want? And what did they say? They said, we want land. And then he said, well, do you want to live amongst us? And he didn't use the word integrate, but basically integrate and all like that. And you know what? They were still fresh from the plantation and from the murders, the terrorism, the genocide. They said, no. We want to go off to ourselves with this land and build and develop our own. Well, what happened? This got into the Freedmen's Bureau, and then it was stripped away by President Andrew Johnson after the assassination of Abraham Lincoln. So, you know, that concept of 40 acres Didn't come from the white folk, it came from Black folk. And they said, we want land. 1898, Callie House and the National Ex-Slave Mutual Relief Bounty and Pension Association had over 300,000 dues-paying members. Callie House, a Christian woman, headed this organization along with her colleague, the Reverend Isaiah Dickinson. This was the first mass-based reparations movement in the United States, whose mission was to organize mutual aid for its members and to pass federal pension legislation that would compensate formerly enslaved people. Well, guess what happened to Callie House? Callie House was wrongfully convicted, and she was imprisoned for a year and a day for her grassroots organizing work. She actually went to prison. Who's going to pay reparations on our soul? A mere washerwoman spearheading this massive movement. Queen Mother Audley Moore, oh my goodness gracious, born in 1898, people, 1898. Her movement, actually was on the heels of Callie House's movement, was the Marcus Garvey and the UNIA during the early part of the 20th century, which also galvanized thousands of supporters. And Queen Mother Audley Moore was a follower of the Garvey movement, born in Louisiana, championed the cause of reparations all throughout the 20th century. Okay, perhaps the most vocal Black nationalist and Pan-Africanist advocate for reparations during the 1950s and 60s, inspiring just about every single reparations movement active until her death in 1996 at the age of 97. She was an inspiration for, well, I think we will see some of this as we go along, but we can go on and move to the next slide. I know it might take a moment to get there, but these are the shoulders that we are standing on, our reparations ancestors. This should be in the books, but instead they're talking about taking stuff out of the books. This should be, I know the brother was talking about the curriculum, you know, things like this need to be part of curriculums. Going on with the brief cursory history of the reparations movement, we had the civil rights movement. Again, Queen Mother Moore, active in the civil rights movement, active in the Black Power movement, inspiring people like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King, James Forman, Black Panther Party, Republic of New Africa, you name it. Civil rights movement, James Forman of SNCC interrupted Sunday service at Riverside Church in New York, calling for reparations. I meant to tell you to hold on that slide. Okay, whatever. Can you go back to that previous one? We're still working out our little kinks here. Thank you. I'm calling upon the churches and the synagogues to pay reparations. You know, some of them did in fact pay. Okay, whatever. Black Panther Party listed, let's pause on this slide, please. Black Panther Party listed the concept of reparations as point number 3 of their 10-point program. And it was these movements, as we said before, that inspired the Japanese Americans to unify their efforts, resulting in the 1988 passage of the Civil Liberties Act, which granted reparations for their unjust incarceration during World War II. And then we move on to what I consider the dawning of the modern era reparations movement with the founding of NCOBA, National Coalition of Blacks Reparations in America, founded in 1987. I was at that founding meeting and worked very closely with Congressman John Conyers, who's down there, who introduced the Federal Reparations Study Bill, first introduced in 1989, HR 40, which was inspired by the Civil Liberties Act of the Japanese Americans during, and that passed in 1988. What was said is, if reparations could be paid to the Japanese Americans, and they started with a study bill, surely if we follow the same process, there should be no question for Black people. Well, unfortunately, that was 30-something years ago. And we've moved from study to developing proposals. And NARC, National African American Reparations Commission, there, I'm a commissioner, Cam Howard's a commissioner, and other people as well. I know Cam initiated the escalation of HR 40 to include not just study, but also the development of reparations. We had today, under the leadership of Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee, more co-sponsors than ever for HR 40. During this period, also, the Case for Reparations by Ta-Nehisi Coates came out in the Atlantic magazine. And I stuck Reparation Education Project up in there because, well, I'm the moderator. I consider REP a new organization with an old soul because I was part of each of these reparations movements even before the organizations that you see on the screen. We can go to the next slide, Baba, and I know it's going to take a moment. Soon this is going to go by itself and have voiceover and music and all that kind of stuff. But right now we're just sharing what we have, and we're just proud to be in partnership, Reparation Education Project, with the Parable of the Sower. Are you moving to the next slide, Baba?
It's moving.
I know it's moving. Okay. All right. So bringing the history on down to today, what we saw in okay, so no, this is not this one. Hold on. Yeah, so we had the Senate bill, Cory Booker introducing Senate Bill 40, a copy of the, and please pause on this slide also, of HR 40. It was revealed that Georgetown University stands today because of the sale of 272 people who were literally sold down the river to keep it afloat from going into bankruptcy. We have land stolen from Bruce's Beach in California, returned to its descendants, and reparations paid. We have the city of Evanston, Illinois, using a reparations model to rectify housing redlining discrimination. We have the state of California establishing the first statewide reparations task force, and it's in the process right here, right now, of holding historic hearings. We have corporations such as Amalgamated Bank coming on board. Even Ben & Jerry's Ice Cream has issued a call to other corporations to support reparations. Let me tell you, things have just been moving and rocking and rolling. You can go to the next slide. I know it's moving because I don't know, have all the techie stuff in place. Well, give me a chance to get a swig or something. And so,
Pause.
yeah, just hold it for a minute. So 2020 and beyond, 2020, we saw the backlash from the Trump era, Black books being banned, the murder of George Floyd, demonstrations everywhere, 2020 candidates vying for the Democratic presidential nomination, vocal on the issue of reparations. You can move to the next slide because it's going to take a while. We saw a whole slew of new organizations dedicated to reparations emerge. We saw interest from philanthropy. And actually, this is an earlier version of the PowerPoint, because actually this slide really goes before the other slide, but you all are my focus group, shall we say.
Pause.
Yeah, I don't know, we'll see. So we have many different stakeholders. Yeah, pause it as part of the reparations movement. And why don't we do, as we go through this, if you're put in the chat, if you're any one of these stakeholders, just put which one you're in. Black-led organizations. If you're part of a Black-led organization, just put it in the chat that you're an allied organization. We have many allies. We have Japanese American allies. We have white allies. We have indigenous people allies. We have Latino allies, so allied organizations, descendant advocacy groups. There are a number of folk who can trace certain things or certain harms back to specific areas or issues, and they're part of stakeholders, part of this reparations movement. We have government, federal government, state, local, there are task forces on reparations popping up all over the country. We have global reparations. Reparations is a global issue all over the world. We have faith-based organizations who have been very, very instrumental in working with the reparations movement. We have academics and we have lawyers, very, very important, very essential. We have philanthropy coming on board with respect to reparations and helping to fund some of this critical work that most of us have been doing 100% free, and the like. So we can go to the next slide, and we're coming down to a close. So I'm not sure what's in the chat. I will look at it. We do save the chat, and afterwards I do take a look at it. Waiting for the PowerPoint to advance. And so the next slide is, when you hear the word reparations, what do you reflect on? You put in the chat, you can look at what's here, but put on what you reflect on when you hear the word reparation. What are the feelings that go through your being, through your soul, your humanity? Put that in the chat. Whatever it is for you, let's put in the chat. Go to the next slide, Baba. The last slide. This is the last slide. The next one is the last slide. Yeah, so 250 years of slavery, 90 years of Jim Crow, 60 years of separate but equal, 35 years of state-sanctioned redlining, until we reckon with the compounding moral debts of our ancestors, America will never be whole. The case for reparations, these are the reflections. Keep going if you have any other reflections. Liberation, give it back, redemption, redistribute, recompense, capital, humble, rebuild. These are statements that came from a cohort of people who were saying, what do you reflect on? What is it that you would need? What do you want philanthropy to do? Unrestricted funding, limitless, decolonize, promising, reimagine, leverage, amplify, empower, convergence, solidarity, interest, and the like. Thank you very much. This was our focus group, shall we say, for this first showing of Reparations 101 political education briefing, brought to you by Reparation Education Project and Parable of the Sower Intentional Community. It's supposed to not be more than 15 minutes, but as we see, I think we started right at 8 o'clock, a little bit after. It says 8:19, but I think part of that is because we weren't synced with the words and the slides going through. So I think it can be done in 15 minutes. I guess my question is, since you're my focus group, what did you think of it? Is 15 minutes too long, too short? We will open it up for Q&A after that. But let me just get a little bit of feedback if we can. And we're only going to do this for about 5 minutes, and then we're going to close out. And we've got to do our time for reparations song, so we will close with that. So does anybody have any feedback? Raise your hand. Okay, I see. I see several hands. I saw Corey Shaw first. Corey, talk to us.
Akichi, I think the content is wonderful, and I think I would want to know a little more about who the audience is before I gave you a sort of judgment on how long it needs to be. I think generally, in giving presentations about reparations, it's better to be a little more long-winded to ensure that we capture the breadth of the movement. But I think if the goal is to distill this information down in like a sort of short form content setting, I think you're on the right track.
Okay, thank you, Corey Shaw. The audience, really, I wanted to use it as part of the RMMM that either precedes or it's at the end of our regular meeting for new people who, not for any and everybody, but just new people who are new to the movement or are interested in background. Also, it will be on our website. make it available if anybody wants to include it in their websites as well. So it's just basic education, and the audience is, I mean, it's not children, but it's, people who are interested in learning just a little bit more about reparations. Watella?
I like it. I think that 15 minutes is fine, especially if you're dealing with young people. And I would like, if once you finish it, if you will allow DC chapter to place it on his website, I would appreciate it.
Oh, yes, absolutely. It's open, and for anybody and everybody would be able to have use of it. And it's going to have come with a voice already. It'll be myself as well as a young person from the parable of the sower. So it'll be like an elder and a younger person, youth. And we're going to incorporate a little music in it as well. So it won't be all dry like this and all, but that's what the vision is. Stephanie.
I personally loved it because I don't want to say just because I'm young, I have a short attention span, but I gotta say it was easy, clear. I loved the food for thought that in the beginning, it made me keep on thinking about it as the presentation was going on. Yeah, no, overall it was really great. The length was amazing, because if it was any longer, 45 minutes, I'd be knocked out by now, but right. is great.
Okay, great. Thank you. And I think the last comment we have is Lily Jackson.
Yes, I thought it was great. I had my hand up earlier because I'm on because we're going to have a reparations symposium in Akron, Ohio.
Who are you? Who is we? Lily?
The Freedom Bloc, the Black social workers.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes, and we're bringing in Dr. Lisa Brown and Olafemi Sepshu. So we want to inform Northeast Ohio about reparations.
Okay.
And I thought this was great. I enjoyed it.
Thank you so very much. And I know some people put some things in the chat, so I will definitely look in the chat. Thank you. Before we're about to close out, but I want, for those who have not heard it before, please stay for a moment. We're going to do the theme song, Time for Reparations, which has a wonderful video that's attached to it. So thank you very much. I will look at the chat. Someone said too short. It was good. Too short. Okay, so I will look at that and we'll take all this into consideration. Again, I want to thank Alita Toure and her Got Reparations and the Parable of the Sower Intentional Community, who did the graphics and all the picture stuff that was part of the PowerPoint. So thank you. So Baba Yao, can you put on our closing theme song? And the next Reparation Movement monthly meetup will be the last Tuesday in February, which I think is Tuesday, February 28th. Time for Reparations by the Sounds of Blackness.